Hi everybody, I'm Gail from New Mother, New Baby, a lactation center located in Northbrook, Illinois. And today I want to talk to you about how to clean and use your Spectra S1 breast pump. So here I have the S1 breast pump. It is identical to the S2 breast pump. The main difference is this pump doesn't need a plug to walk around with. So in other words, if you are using the S1, you do have to charge it with a plug, but you don't have to keep it charged. So if you need to get up and move around or something like that while you're pumping, you can. There's also the S2 breast pump, which looks identical to this and works exactly the same, except that one you do have to keep plugged in. So if you are deciding on what kind of pump to get, people really prefer this one because they can move around while they're pumping if needed. This pump we call a workhorse pump because it is got a great motor in it. It works well for most people. I would say probably in this area, 95% of the moms come in with this pump and do really well with it. There's other really good pumps also on the market. This is the one I definitely see the most of and know the most about. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. But all pumps work on somewhat of a similar basis. So no matter what pump you have, you can kind of relate this pump to, as far as the settings go and everything, they're similar. While they're all also like a little bit different, they're also very similar in some ways. So, okay, so let's talk about the parts that we need to use with the pump. So these are the parts that you really have to make sure you sterilize and clean before the first use, and you're going to clean it in between the times that you pump as well. So this piece over here is called the flange or the breast shield. We use those two names interchangeably. This is the bottle, obviously, and this is an older model of the Spectra bottle. There's like newer ones that are more square. And then this piece just pops off like that, and this is called the duckbill valve. If for some reason you plug in your pump and it's not working, most likely this is the culprit. Sometimes people will put this on like this and they'll forget to put this in, and then they start pumping and they're not getting any suction. Your pump won't suction at all without this piece. It just goes on like that, any which way, just push it on. And these are the parts you're gonna wash before the first use. We do recommend sterilizing this before the first use. In between, you can wash it with warm soapy water. You can use a baby Brezzo or something similar, one of the sterilizers. Some of them have washing and sterilizing. And so when you sterilize it, you can use something like the baby Brezzo or some type of sterilizer. And you can also wash it with, you can use it in like a big pot of boiling water to sterilize also. So, and then they make like sterilizing bags. There's all sorts of things. So these are the parts that you're going to want to make sure that you keep clean, you wash, etc. And then this piece over here is called the backflow protector. You are going to want to sterilize this before the first use. And then after that, just watch for milk to get into the parts. The backflow protector is actually 3 parts. You can actually see this comes off. There's a little lip here and you just push it on, goes on here. And this keeps milk from backing up into the tubing. Okay, so we're going to take the backflow protector. We're going to put it on here like that. And then you're going to connect the tubing onto here. The tubing actually never needs to be washed because milk, just only air goes through here. Milk doesn't go through here. So that's a little bit about washing and cleaning and getting ready. The Spectra actually doesn't have too many parts. It's pretty easy to clean. So, and then when you're pumping, the pump parts just goes right in here. And you're also going to want to make sure that your flanges are measured. You want to measure your nipples, so you make sure you have the right flange size. This is where a lactation consultant can come in handy, or you can watch some tutorials online on how to fit your flanges. And so you make sure that you have the right size. It isn't just a one-time thing. Sometimes your flanges, your nipples size can change during the course of lactation, so you may need to get remeasured. The most current study that came out said to measure your nipples and kind of use the size that you measure as your starting point. So if you measure a 16, you're going to want to use a 16, as opposed to in years past, we used to say go 1 to 3 millimeters bigger. It's not definitive yet. That was, one study. And so just kind of play around with your flange sizes, see what feels best. But we are finding in general, people are finding they get more milk and it's more comfortable if they go smaller. And so I'm just putting that out there. As far as using your pump, so here is the Spectra pump. This is the button that turns the pump on. Okay, and then right after you turn it on, you want to press this little wave button here, because that wave button puts it into what we call stimulation mode. On stimulation mode with the Spectra S1 or the S2, you're going to be at 70. You cannot make it go any lower than 70. But you can make this go from anywhere from 1 to 5. If you started at 1, you'll feel like you barely feel the pump working. So you're going to turn it up until you get to a comfortable level. When you first start out, maybe stay at 2 or 3. And as time goes on, you can turn it up a little bit higher. After around 2 minutes, some people go a little longer than that, you're going to want to press this wave button again. Okay, and that puts you into what we call letdown mode. And so the first mode is called massage mode. So when a baby starts nursing, they're kind of like pretty fast and furious. And then once the milk lets down or starts coming out, babies get very rhythmical in their sucking. So that's kind of what we're looking for. And in this mode, the Spectra goes anywhere from 38 to 54. It's not going to go any higher than 54 in this mode. But in this mode, you are going to be able to go, getting a little glare from that light here, you are going to be able to go up all the way to 12. I feel like most people don't pump at 12. They usually pump, they start off at the beginning kind of like 5, 6, 7, 8, starting off at just maybe at 1 or 2 and then increasing. And as long as the pump feels okay, you can go higher. And pumping is not really just, a plug and play. You want to actually work a little bit with your pump and learn to know what works for you, because it's always going to be a little bit different for everyone. And I'll have more videos on pumps and some of the wearables and some of the other things, but I just wanted to give you a good overview of the Spectra One breast pump and let you know that if you are looking for a breast pump, start out with a good breast pump, a good solid workhorse pump like the Spectra. There's the Unimom, there's the Luna Motif. There is there's other ones out there. And so do a little research yourself and make sure you get your flanges sized, your nipple size for the right flange size. And we'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye-bye.